Very good evening, dear students. Today we will discuss on engine cooling systems. Already we have discussed various systems that has that are required for the vehicles. Now, what is the function of cooling system? First of all, discuss what is the necessity of cooling systems. Generally, the temperature range inside the engine cylinder, that is near about 1500 to 2000 degrees Celsius, and that is tremendous amount of heat is developed inside the engine cylinder. So the continuous heat is developed inside the engine cylinder. There is a possibility of overheating of engine parts, maybe the engine cylinder, maybe the piston, maybe other parts which are fitted on an engine. That's why to control the temperature of engine, that is very necessity. That's why there is a to require or to maintain the engine temperature, there is a requirement of cooling systems. Due to the overheating, large temperature difference may be the lead distortion of engine components due to the thermal stress up. This makes it necessary for the temperature variation to be kept minimum. Higher temperature also lowers the volumetric efficiency of engine. That's why to control the engine temperature is required, and to control the engine temperature there is a requirement of cooling systems. The cooling system serves three important functions. First, it removes the excess amount of heat from the engine. Second, it maintains the engine operating temperature where it works most efficiently. And last one, it brings the engine up to the right operating temperature as quickly as possible. These are the three major functions of engine cooling systems. One is to remove the excess amount of heat from the engine, maintain the engine operating temperature, and brings engine up to the right operating temperature as quickly as possible. These are the three important functions of the cooling systems. There are two major classification of cooling systems: air cooling system and water cooling systems. These are the two major classification of air cooling systems. These are used in vehicle systems. Air cooling systems, the air is used for the cooling. Air cooling is method of dissipation of heat. It works by the expanding surface area or increasing the flow of the air over the object to cool or both. The addition of fins, actually there are fins are provided for air cooling systems. The cross-sectional area of fin is very much important to reject the heat to the atmosphere. The fins are maybe the aluminum fins. The shape of the fin may be the triangular, trapezoidal shape. Such type of shapes are actually the air cooling systems are used in generally two-wheelers. Now look in this diagram. The fins are provided over the engine cylinders. The fins are surfaces that extend from an object to increase the rate of heat transfer to form environments by increasing convection. There is the various classification of heat transfer: conduction, convection, and radiation. The heat is transferred from engine to cylinder wall to the atmosphere. In case of convection, there is the heat transfer take place in a convection. The heat of the engine cylinder that is given to the cylinder wall and that is transferred to the pins. Over these pins, the air is passing through over these pins, the heat is dissipated from pins to the air, that is atmospheric air. Air cooling systems. Generally, these air cooling systems, look this diagram. This is the pins of the two-wheeler engine. The pins, aluminum pins provided over the engine cylinder, that is air cooling of the motorcycle. Look this, these are the aluminum pins are provided for air cooling systems. Now there are various advantages of air cooling systems. Light in weight, because of the pins weight is very less. The material used for the pins are aluminum. No antifreeze is required, only air is required. The air is freely available. This system can be used where water scarcity is there. There is a shortage of water is there is some of the spaces where water shortage are there. Because of, in case of water cooling system, there is a more water is required for the water cooling systems, but in case of air cooling system there is a no requirement of water. So this system can be used where the water scarcity is there. Simple design, required very less space is required. No tapping up the water, there is no requirement of water, that's why no tapping up the water. These are the various advantages of the air cooling systems. But there are some disadvantages of air cooling systems. Can be applied only small or medium size engines. Cooling is not uniform. The cooling is depends upon air velocity, cross sectional area of the pins. That's why the cooling is not getting uniformly. High working temperature compared to water cooling systems. These are limited for the low working temperature in case of two-wheeler engine or where the engine working temperature is moderate. But in case of diesel engine or maybe the more cylinders are there, there is a higher working temperature. For a higher working temperature, air cooling is not used. This is one of the drawback of the air cooling system. And another disadvantage is produces more aerodynamic noise is there, because of whenever the air is passing over these pins, there is a noise take place. These are the disadvantages of air cooling systems. Now water cooling systems. In this type of cooling system, the heat which is conducted to the outer part of engine and it is radiated and conducted away by the stream of the air which is obtained from the atmosphere. Actually the water is used as for the water cooling systems. Now how the water cooling systems are works, there are various components used for the water cooling system, such as a radiator. There is a water pump is required to circulate the water. Radiator hoses are required. The fan, radiator fan, to drive this fan there is a requirement of belt. These are the various components of the water cooling systems. Radiator is the one of important component of water cooling systems. Radiators are the heat exchangers used to transfer the thermal energy from one medium to another for the purpose of cooling and heating. The radiator, look this diagram. In the radiator there are number of tubes inserted, and over these tubes there is a pins are provided. The copper material generally used for the radiator tubes because of the higher thermal conductivity. And radiator cap, this is also very much important. Radiator cap, look this diagram. Radiator cap keeps the cooling system pressurized, which rises the boiling point. The radiator cap also vacuum wall. It is also works as a vacuum wall that allows to coolant to flow from reservoir tank to the radiator during cool down. When the coolant temperature drops, the coolant will contact and creates the vacuum. This is radiator cap which is fitted on a radiator. Antifreeze solution is required because of some of the western countries and maybe in Kashmir there is a very less temperature. So to whenever this water is used for this system cooling systems, the water may be possibility of freezing of water due to the temperatures. Maybe in western countries, Canada, America, the temperature is very less, maybe minus the temperature is there. So possibility of freezing of water take place. To avoid this freezing of water, the antifreeze solutions are mixed with water to avoid freezing of this water, such as sodium glycol. Such type of antifreeze solutions are used for water cooling systems to avoid the freezing of water. There are some properties of the antifreeze solutions. It should be dissolved in water easily, should not be evaporate, should not be deposit any foreign material in cooling systems. This is very much important. It should not deposit any foreign matters or foreign particles. It should not have any harmful effect on the part of the cooling systems. Maybe the does not react with chemically react with material of maybe the engine part or components. It should be cheap and easily available, should not be corrode the systems. So antifreeze solutions generally methylene, ethylene, isopropylene, alcohols, these are the antifreeze solutions used. A solution of alcohol and water, ethylene glycol, a solution of water and ethylene glycol, glycerin along with water. These are the antifreeze solutions available that are used for the water cooling systems. There are some advantages of the water cooling systems. Uniform cooling of the cylinder head and walls. This is the big advantage as compared to air cooling systems. In case of air cooling system, there is a not uniform cooling take place, but by using this water cooling system we can achieve the uniform cooling. As well as another advantage is specific fuel consumption of engine improves the water cooling systems, can improve the specific fuel consumptions. Also another advantage is if we employ water cooling systems, the engine need not be provided at the front end of the moving vehicle. Engine is less noisy as compared to air cooling systems. Already we have discussed in case of air cooling system there is a noise is created whenever the air passing over these pins, but these are the in case of water cooling system very actually less noise is not created. It has water for the damping noise. There are some disadvantages of the water cooling systems. It depends upon supply of water. Water is very much important. If there is no water, maybe the cooling